try to make a more specific approach to the partner with our teams here at Google. This is our approach, but this is, I think, how everyone should be approaching it. An ad experience for the user is way different. So I feel like that's a little bit underutilized in the industry. So I would speak with consultants. There's a lot of people in the industry that know about ad monetization very well.
One bad ad, that can cost you a player, but one bad ad strategy, well, that can cost you your game or your app. And if you want to look at the data, well, Deloitte and Google AdMob, they found that 1 in 5 players will choose which games they want to play based on the ad quality. And that's not even counting the disruptive playable ads, because that can double the chance that they quit. So this is not just about a loss in revenues, because then there's a loss in trust, right? Because there are other types of apps. And I don't know about you, but as a woman, I'm tired of seeing the sexist, predatory creatives I'm seeing in gaming and non-gaming apps. And that's just the ad quality that we can see, because then it's like the tip of the iceberg, and there is ad quality underneath that. We get to malvertising, we get to fraud, we get to scams, we get to everything you cannot see. So overall, it's a problem that the entire industry will need to address in the new year. And that's what I'm doing here with the PlayerFirst Perspectives. It's a new series powered by AppHarbr. It's about fixing ad quality, but it's also about developing ad policies so that users stay in your app or your game and you enforce what you think is right. So I want you to join the conversation as well. You can join the PlayerFirst Collective on Slack, and I will give you those notes, those links in the show notes. But to kick it off, we go to the source. We go straight to the source inside Google AdMob, where I was at the Google App Summit in Dublin, and we talk about ad quality and how smart UX can grow your game instead of breaking it. This is MobileGroove at the Google App Summit, which is the event. But I don't know, Berk, was it always the event? You've been at a few. How has it evolved over the years?
So yeah, this is my 4th App Summit. Okay. It's been changing a lot. Like the first App Summits that we had were mostly internal. We didn't really have external speakers as much. So it's great to have you here as well.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, it's been great. We've, I think, diversified speakers a lot in the last years, and this year I would say top when it comes to speakers and content and everything. So we're building on that every year. So
excellent. So I'm in a good year. This is a good company.
You came at the best year.
So you've been here for a while, and obviously that means you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of changes, and that's just it. One thing that doesn't change, the focus on growth, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to know, how do I grow my app? Now it's about profitable growth, sustainable growth, more so than before.
Exactly.
But there are little tweaks, changes that can be so impactful. Maybe you can share one or two, because, you know, in the look at the big picture, sometimes you miss the small details and they count.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I get the privilege to work with publishers that are new to the industry. New companies. So I work as a business development manager at Google. So my job is to basically help companies, apps and gaming companies, build their monetization strategies, right? And the things that I've seen the most is people generally start off with, like, for example, just one bidder in their system. So what I would give advice is, you know, always be in contact with people that you work with from Google, from other companies that you work with, that people that basically help you grow, and take their advice. There's a lot of people that I've seen that have just started their monetization strategies, for example, with just one bidder. Make sure to have several bidders into the system.
So it makes total sense.
It's like, I mean, that actually helps the competition among bidders. So the more competition you have, the highest bids you will get when it comes to monetization strategies. So yeah, I think that's definitely important. Choose a mediation that gives fair representation to every bidder in your system. So that will help your monetization strategies a lot moving forward.
What about the models themselves, because we're thinking about the formats and reward is huge. So we're also thinking about, well, how do you get the most out of the format for yourself, but also, getting the best experience for the player, the user, because otherwise they will churn, they will go. What do you think there about changes that you can make or that publishers you can make, or what you're advising them to do to have that balance?
Everyone should look at it at a holistic view. I think user segmentation makes huge difference. Segment your users based on their behavior, like what they're doing. Try to preserve your IAPs while also monetizing users. Because in generally, for example, in gaming, in non-gaming it's a bit different, but gaming, only 5% of users are converters, like people that actually do purchases. So what you can do is have a strategy that monetizes the rest of the 95%. And monetize them in a different way than you would for your purchasers. This also based on country, like where the users are. That would make a huge difference. So that's one of the advices that I give. Segment your users based on their behavior, and then have different strategies for different types of users. So that would
it's so simple to start out. I mean, that's true. A lot of people, a lot of publishers I'm talking with, they're just starting to think about their AdMob strategy as well. And it's like even letting users know you have one, right? Sometimes it's just like a button or something, that gives that clue. Looking at the partners that you're working with, how do you see their roadmaps evolving? I talked about sustainable and profitable growth, but that's what I'm seeing from the outside. Is that what's happening, what you're seeing as well?
It totally depends on what type of app you're making. If you're an IAP first, I work with a lot of different type of strategies that people have in the industry. Some of them want to go ad revenue first. Some of them want to go IAP revenue first. So there is no, one size fits all, of course. But the biggest thing is understanding what your users want first. If you see that they're used to doing purchases, go to the route of having IAPs on the side of having ad monetization as an option. I have a lot of partners that I work with that just start with rewarded ad, keeping it safe. Rewarded ads, doesn't affect UX that much. It's a user choice. So they want to keep it safe. And then in time, they start to segment their users. So they start off really slow, conservative, which I totally understand. You need to understand what they want first. And then after that, you can start segmenting and be a bit more aggressive, as I said, depending on their behavior and their purchase, behavior.
Because you want to mix. You want to mix for the different types of users. It's great to have a mix, but it's also a mind shift change, right? Because you have publishers who were doing maybe one thing. As you said, you're working with them, biz dev. Some people are just starting. So what are some of the ways that you drive that mind shift change? Because it's a team effort. So you got to be speaking to different parts of the team. And you have to be encouraging them in different ways. I
mean, it's funny because we always have meetings with the marketing teams first, because they're the ones that want to bring in the revenue, while product teams want to preserve UX as much as possible, which is understandable. Everyone's core values are, targets, our KPIs are different. When we do have those meetings, we try to have like a common ground between the two teams of product and marketing. It's a constant clash of, they want different things. So we do try to preserve everyone's expectations when it comes to ad monetization. We have at Google here, we have our UX team, which generally talks to the partners to understand. We do peer benchmarking from our side. So we try to understand what the industry standards are and then try to tailor the ad expectations to the partner, depending on what the industry in general is doing. So we try to make a more specific approach to the partner with our teams here at Google. This is our approach, but this is, I think, how everyone should be approaching it.
Being realistic, as you said, the expectations, being realistic there. What about tailoring that to the different markets? Do you give some advice with mature versus evolving and emerging? Because it's going to be different.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to work with the whole EMEA region in general. I work with well-matured regions like the Nordics, for example. They've been in this game for a long time. I work with emerging markets like Turkey and UAE, for example. The approach is totally different. Like when you see the approach of more mature markets like the Nordics, they are really steady. They have a plan, on what they want to do and how they want to do it. They have a time frame on how they want to do it.
Interesting. They're so methodical.
They're so like, let's do it like this month we're launching this month we're launching. So they have a plan on what they want to do, and they approach the markets the same way, like scaling by understanding what the user wants. Whereas more like regions like, for example, Turkey, Cyprus, Dubai, for example, UAE, they have a more let's go all in and then let's try to understand
and
as we go.
let's see what works.
Yeah.
And we'll go the way that it works. Yeah?
Exactly. So you can see that even the users in those regions are used to these kind of approaches as well. So that's how I think companies generally approach it. It works in different ways. You can see the Nordic companies finding great success in their way, and emerging
but they're crushing it in Turkey. So
Turkey,
absolutely, boom market.
Exactly.
I spoke with Fatma about the way these models are going to evolve, because the market's evolving. I mean, let's face it, games are mass media. Apps are the point not only of entertainment, but discovery. Brands are going to be getting into there. It's going to be massive. It will always be an exciting space, but then the models need to evolve. Are there any models that you see are underutilized, underrated, maybe need to be brought back differently into the mix?
What I've seen generally in the industry, it kind of ties back to the first answers that I gave, is a lot of people don't take UX into consideration as much. They do take UX as a holistic view of the app, but they don't take UX as an ad revenue standpoint. Generally, what I've seen in the industry that has become is they have an industry standard of what should be, but I don't feel like it's being taken as a more specific approach for themselves. So even though they do take it into consideration UX for the general app, an ad experience for the user is way different. So what I've seen, I feel like that's a little bit underutilized in the industry. So I would have speak with consultants. There's a lot of people in the industry that know about ad monetization very well. So speak to them and understand an ad revenue UX standpoint as well. So even though you do take into consideration your general UX of the app, where everything should be, keep into consideration while you're designing the app where you possibly could be adding the ads. That gives you a hybrid monetization strategy that actually works great for you.
Yeah, because there are points where, like after a high moment, maybe yes, but at a battle defeat, that's not the place for an ad. That's an emotional moment. That's not cool. It's interesting, though, that you say that the UX has to be more and more a part of this, which is what we know in mobile marketing. The experience is what you're selling, and that's happening more and more this, I would imagine, consciousness, this realization for publishers. So for ones who are just getting their head around this, a last piece of advice, how to start. It's great to say, yes, you need to understand that UX is maybe undervalued or underestimated in all of this. So it has to change. Something has to change. What's your advice?
So the best way to start is, it depends on what your strategy is from app to app. For non-gaming, it's a lot different than gaming. But I would say start conservative during testing phase. So in testing phase, try to understand how users react before going to the global launch stage. Because everyone has, a beta stage where they're testing, even if it's your friends, your family. Try to understand what people's expectations would be there. Integrate user segmentations early. So you start gathering the data of your users at an early stage. So when you do get to global launch stage, you already have some data sets ready to be able to start working with. So,
I like that, tailoring the UX to the user segmentation. Some AI to help you figure it out.
Of course.
Absolutely. But doing that, it's that test and learn all over again, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, in the industry, we have great MMPs that allow you to do really precise segmentation for users. And those data, like that data is going to be very useful when you go to global launch. You'll have them ready. So changing it in the later phase is a lot more difficult than having it early in the launch phase.
Starting early on.
So that's important in my opinion.
I love that. We went full circle. We know now what we need to do in the industry, and you have been here for quite a few of these app summits. I'll look forward. Maybe I'll be lucky. Maybe I'll be invited to next year. What do you think?
You will be for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, would love to see you here every year.
It's a date, man. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't miss it. You're on.
Thank you.